Alright, another radio for review. This one was sent to the channel by Talkpod. I've seen these before online. A lot of people have reviewed them, so they're nothing new, but it's new to me. So I chose the green color, which I really like. A lot of times the black ones just kind of get lost, so this is pretty nice, especially if you're going to take it out in the woods or something like that. My first impression is it's very light. It has a pretty low amp hour battery, so I believe you can get an extended battery for these things, but that would be an additional cost. But if you're looking for something that, you know, is just going to be used occasionally and stuff, this battery is probably fine for you. Let's go ahead and take it off and we'll take a look at it. It is 1500 milliamp hour, so that's pretty small, right? 1500 milliamp hour, 7.4 lithium. So has the normal connectors and stuff on it, and it inserts easily and stuff. Let's turn it on. I do like the display. They've done a good job at using correct fonts and adding some graphics and stuff. So yeah, they've done a good job. Zoom down good here. They've done a good job on the display. So it does talk to you when you do things. I turned the beep off. Normally it would go beep 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 as you move around the menu system. Let's go ahead and give you a sample of the audio. So let's see here. I've programmed this button at the bottom.
It's 55 to 90.
So there's two buttons here and there's a button on top, and they're individually programmable. So I have this one. Oops. I have this one set to do weather, and I have this one set to do scan, and I have this one set to do high power, low power.
Fog in the morning. High is 55 to 90.
Yeah, so
Lows to 65.
it has a nice speaker in it. It goes pretty loud.
Entitled information for the San Francisco Bay Area for Saturday, August.
So I like that. Turn it off. Click it again. It's 7 bands. So let's talk about the 7 bands before we go any further. There is a transmit range, but let's talk about the receive range. And these are the 7 ranges. One range is 136 to 174, 220 to 260, 350 to 390, 390 to 470, 470 to 520, FM broadcast, and AM broadcast for the airband. So it does AM demodulation of the airband. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's how they count the 7 bands. 256 channels. That's pretty big. And it's actually 512 channels because they store the low frequency, high frequency for splits and stuff like that. So yeah, it's got a lot of memory in it. Okay, let's talk about transmit. So the device is sold as a GMRS portable transceiver, okay? And there's some confusion about, is that the only thing it does? Because it says, does it say on the box? It doesn't say on the box, but sometimes in the advertisement, yeah, here on the end of the box, it says Talkpod. This is the A36plus radio ham walkie-talkie new. So it says the word ham, but the way it's sold is as a GMRS radio. We'll talk about maybe extended range of this thing, extended frequency ranges and stuff, but for now you should consider it a GMRS radio. That's how it was FCC certified and everything, and it does have extended range here. Now they kind of hint here that it might transmit in other areas, but we'll talk about that later. All right, so let's go back to the radio here. It's pretty standard.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
So there's channel mode. Okay, so
6, 2.
So let's see here if I can. I need to hook up an external antenna for this. I have it set for some of the aircraft stuff. There we go. So I'm in the garage, so I'm not getting good reception stuff. We'll hook an external antenna up to it. But anyway, it has a bunch of frequencies in channel mode. And then if you hold the button, this menu button down. Oh, I should do that with a button. Oh, shoot. So, let me get rid of that. Okay, so.
Channel mode.
Channel mode.
Frequency mode.
Now you're in frequency mode. Now you can just type in something.
1, 2, 4, 0, 0, 0.
And that's frequency mode, right? So
1, 6, 2, 5, 5, 0. 10 to 20 knots this afternoon.
that's one of the weather channels. So anyway, channel mode, frequency mode. We can go to channel mode, and we can just hit that button. I have it set up for. Oops, I didn't have the volume up. There.
Scanning begin.
Scanning begins. So it is scanning now through the different channels and stuff. I've got a whole bunch programmed in here. So this is programmable. This is programmable with their software that you can download. It's also programmable by Chirp, and I recommend that you program it by Chirp. That seemed to work out really good for me. Let's see, what else is there to talk about it? There's normal headphone jack things. I'll show you what comes in the box. User manual that has font too small to read, but you can go to their website and get it. It comes with a programming cable, USB programming cable, audio. Comes with a charger. Now this is a cool thing. I've seen several radios like this now, which I super like. It comes with the drop-in charger, which is great. Okay, so drop-in charger. In fact, this one has an AC plug on it, so that's kind of unusual. Also, that these sometimes require you to have a wall wart or something, but this one has a oops, get those out of the way. Has an AC cord on it, so that's very, very cool. But there is on the bottom a USB-C connection, so you can plug this in right in the bottom, and you can charge that USB-C, because you're not going to have this when you're out camping or something like that, right? But you probably will have maybe a car charger or I always take a small solar panel to do charging and stuff. And you could just use your USB-C cable. There's a LED here, tells you it's red if it's charging, green if it's done. What else do you need to know? What else do you need to know? So let me go measure the power. So output power in high mode is about 5 watts. And output power in low mode is what, 1.7 watts, something like that. So it's got high power, low power. There was some confusion in the data that I was reading. Somewhere I read that it had 3 power levels. That's not true. It only has 2 power levels. Oh, right. So we made the power measurement. Let me show you the antenna. It's normal male on that end, female on this end. These antennas that come with these Chinese radios aren't exactly right. I don't know where they got this design, but everybody seems to have copied it and stuff. So it's not really resonant at the frequencies you'd like it to be resonant at. So, you know, you can see here that it's just not quite right. And it says on the bottom, it says 136 to 174, and that's just not correct. This one also says it's resonant at FM frequencies. That's just not correct. So it is resonant at maybe in the 130s, and that's not going to do you any good. It's GMRS radio, so GMRS radio is up around 462, right? And so the upper one here says it's resonant from 400 to 470. And that's just not right either. You can see here that, yeah, it's a little bit short. or a little bit long actually. It's a little bit low in frequency. It should be shifted up a little bit, but it works. I mean, and like I say, almost all the radios look like this. You know, unless you get a fancy antenna that it's really made correctly. But it seems like everybody is copying a poor antenna. Let's see, what else about the radio do you need to know? Let's take a look at its spectral purity. I know everybody's, that's the big thing people talk about these things. There's two things to, oh, yeah, let's look at spectral purity and then we'll show the other thing that I have a complaint about. All right, we have it hooked up now to the spectrum analyzer, so let's see what we got here. Let's put it on.
0, 0, 1.
Put it on. Sorry, put it on a GMRS frequency here, and let me transmit. And I think you can see there. I've got a. Please don't do this. Make sure you have an attenuator on your spectrum analyzer. I have a 30 dB 10 watt attenuator. And so let's transmit here, and you can see here's the carrier at do a peak at 462, and you can see that there's nothing here. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 dB down. There's no harmonics or whatever. So it's very spectrally clean, transmitting on GMRS. Okay. All right. So let me talk a little bit about the way this radio is sold. It's sold as a GMRS radio, but there are ways to unlock it. You may get a locked radio, you may get an unlocked radio. There's a key press you can use to unlock the radio. Everybody knows about it, so search it if you really care. So I've unlocked this radio, and let's go ahead and transmit on 70 centimeters, okay? So it will do ham bands at 70 centimeters. So let's
6, 3.
I have it. Here we go. Here's 70 centimeter simplex. This is 462. No, this is I don't remember. We'll see. We'll do a peek on it. This is 446.533, and you can see also it's spectrally clear. So 400 megahertz and above, this thing is perfectly fine to use. GMRS, FRS, ham radius 70 centimeters, everything is good to go. Now, unfortunately, this thing will also transmit in the 2 meter band if it's unlocked. And do not do that. Do not do that. The radio is not meant to do that. It allows it, but it's not really meant to do that, and I'll show you why, okay? So let's put it here on 2 meter simplex, and I'll transmit on 2 meter simplex, and you can see that it just has harmonics everywhere. It's just awful. So do not transmit on 2 meters, ever, with this radio. It's not FCC certified, and it doesn't have the right filter. It doesn't do 2 meters. This radio does not do 2 meters. Do not transmit on 2 meters, okay? Otherwise, the radio is just fine. You can receive on 2 meters. You can listen to your buddies. You can transmit on 70 centimeters, GMRS, FRS, all that kind of stuff. It's fine for all those other things. But yeah, do not transmit on 2 meters. All right, let's listen to some audio. Okay, I have it hooked up to my 2 meter. I have a 2 meter J pole that also operates fine on 70 centimeters.
High tide 3:40 p.m. at 5.85.
So it's working good there. But let me show you the other modes it has. It has an FM mode. Let's see here. Get rid of that. So if you hit the FM button, you can listen to FM broadcast. Okay, so that's what the FM button does. So you have FM, you have weather, and then also can do airplanes. Okay, so let's see, I have a couple programmed in here. Tower frequency. So I live next to an airport, so we can. Now up here it says AM, so it does have AM modulation built in. It knows when you're on a particular frequency range, it goes ahead and on AM. Now there is a problem with their squelch and maybe frequency demodulator. Is there's a couple milliseconds of garbage before it kind of catches up with itself, and then it's clean. So the first syllable of somebody talking is going to be garbled, and then once they talk, that was a little bit noisy.
Southbound AC-130 at 1,000. Captain American Park today. Alright, we're looking for him, and have a good day. So this is L1.
All right, so like I said, the first couple hundred milliseconds is garbled, and then it's perfectly fine after that. Now, this would drive me crazy listening to this. It's not going to be a great radio for airband. Now, if you maybe you're backpacking around and whatever, you're next to an airport, you just want to listen for fun, it's okay occasional use, but I think that first few milliseconds of garbled audio would just be a killer. You know, I have
2834 cross 330 kilo, contact Gravity. 2834, clear to cross runway 30 right and kilo, and over the ground.
Okay, so what's my overall impression? I honestly thought I wouldn't like this radio, and I actually ended up really liking it. I do like the radio. It's not a ham radio. It's not going to transmit on 2 meters. Yes, it can transmit on 70 centimeters. The aviation band is broken, but it's okay. But for everything else, for the weather and the FM and the GMRS and chirp programmable and just the feel of it, the quality of it, yeah, I like this radio. So. Yeah, so my only complaints are the AM modulation and the non-specified 2-meter transmission. Shouldn't have done that in the first place, but yeah, please don't do that.